Probably one of the parts of the automotive industry that absolutely has the largest amount of needed reform is the level at the car dealership level. Our next guest we have had as a regular guest on the show because we're committed to really creating reform in this segment of the market. And we've really aligned with this one business, Wild West Chevrolet in Yerington, to take on the information and model of information that we want you to have so that you can stop taking it from the rest of them. And I say that because it really angers me that when you just for convenience, support a business because it's close to home, or you think they're all the same and you don't look into the differences and where your money belongs, you really are perpetuating the problems in the automotive industry, and we want you to stop it. Be accountable. Take action. Use your money, your power, your vote to support quality and integrity in the dealership level. And if you don't think that exists, well, hold on to your seat right now because it does, and it's a real absolute gift for us to be able to share this with our community, that there is a business in the automotive dealership segment that we can endorse with pride, that operates with integrity. And it's Wild West Chevrolet in Yerington, and it is worth the drive. I recently had a customer ask me, well, it's an hour. Well, I said an hour, and they pay you almost, we had one of our clients save almost $90 an hour, a minute, a mile, $90 a mile for going out there. Let's start really briefly with overall strategy, because this is at the core of Wild West Chevrolet's philosophy.
It is, Mitch. It's great to be back. I'm George Green. I'm the operations manager.
Thank you, George.
I tell you, when I went out to Yerington and the Lindberghs they built a really nice little facility down there, and they have a great operation going, longtime employees, and it's family owned and operated. And true sense of value is that most of our deals, Mitch, are done with a handshake, and I can't say enough about that. And I've been in them. I started selling cars in Detroit in 1979, and those values that I started the business with are certainly apparent out there and living every day.
Well, we had Don Lindbergh, the owner, as you mentioned, on our show once before, and he just talked about even in the name. It wasn't. I don't have an ego where I have to put my name on the building. I wanted to describe with our name what's at the core of our business, and Wild West describes that old family, small town philosophy and mentality of really caring and coveting somebody as your neighbor. And that still today exists at Wild West Chevrolet.
It does.
And part of it, here's one of the things I want people to understand. It is at the core of that business, but it really gets to their pocketbook and savings. Recently, General Motors had a program called Total Confidence Pricing.
Yes. A national program that's it's kind of interesting, Mitch, because I want to say that when I came on here a year ago, we talked about the same kind of pricing strategy that we had down there, that we understand that it's not your neighborhood normal neighborhood dealership, but you have to drive a little bit, but you're going to save a bunch.
Well, I want to share this because what happened is maybe 4 or 5 years ago, people will remember General Motors had employee pricing for everybody. It was one of the biggest successful programs General Motors have ever had, and then they stopped it. And then, we had you on, and I want our community to hear this because we mentioned that you can go to our website, thecarbuyeradvisor.com, click on our preferred business page. You can find Wild West on there, and there's a YouTube link there. If you click on it, all of their interviews, and we've had them on our show close to a dozen times over the last year because this is this important of an issue in the automotive community that we want to create reform in. Months and months ago, we were talking about the fact that somebody could pick up the phone and get a price in less than 60 seconds.
Yes.
And you were still offering employee pricing for everybody.
That's correct. And we've continued that. The program ended, Mitch, on September 4th, but once again, we're still continuing with our program. I know your local dealerships don't do that, and they weren't even part of the program, even though it was a national program.
This is why I asked you to come on right now, okay? Because there was a national program for 45 days roughly that you could do that again, and it was national. But the dealerships had to select to either accept or deny participation.
Yes.
What it says to me is if a business denies participation in a program like that, they're just not willing to sell the car at that low of a price. They want more money.
That's correct.
And with total disregard for the fact that our community in Reno could have gone anywhere in the nation to thousands of businesses and bought that car at employee pricing that one of our local businesses did not sign up for that program.
That's correct.
It appalls me. It offends me. It gives the whole reason why this show exists is our community needs to stop taking it. And really, they paid thousands of dollars, sometimes more than if they had picked up the phone and called Wild West Chevrolet. We had Patty, your salesman, on our show,
yes.
And he said he's got an invoice book. He'll give you that price in 60 seconds or less without having to go to a manager.
Right. We give them that authority. One, we want to make it easy, hassle-free, simpler times, Mitch. I'm telling you, it works. And we've had a terrific run right now the last couple of months. We're finally getting a lot of inventory, and it's going out the door because people are calling. Price is one of the reasons that they buy. I might not have the biggest selection, but I'll tell you what, if I don't have it, I find it.
And you can get it, yeah.
And I can get it. So promptly, and the customers are enthused. It's just a fun thing to do.
It's in that core strategy of respecting the consumer and giving them that price, hassle-free, old school, handshake level. But, the fact that a consumer, and I want people to know that unfortunately over the last 40-some days in our local community, there were potentially hundreds of people that paid more than they needed to for a car.
That is true.
And again, that we're never told the program existed. And if the program they found out existed, they're not necessarily getting their money back.
Well, what's interesting, you go to the Chevrolet website, and it's all over the website, Total Confidence Pricing. And you go to our website, Total Confidence Pricing. You go to their website, they don't even have prices on their website.
Well, and now that pricing program is over. It ended, September 4th?
Correct.
But it's not over at Wild West Chevrolet.
It isn't.
And it wasn't over before it began at Wild West Chevrolet. You still offered it.
The strategy is very simple. We want to earn your business, and I wanted it to be where price was not really an objection. You can buy like an employee can buy it. There's rebates, there's incentives. Right now, they've currently picked up, I think you can get 0% financing on some vehicles up to 72 months, the new Traverse, the Silverados, 0%. If you trade in a vehicle, 99 or newer, you can get 0% plus another couple $1,000. But, I don't want to make this a big commercial. Just go to our website. Everything's priced at the right price, and or call Patty, and he'll give you that price within 60 seconds.
And I just think that's extraordinary. So, folks, if you think that an hour's drive or, 20 minutes past the raceway out in Fernley isn't worth the convenience of calling up saying, what's my price? And by the way, I've heard you'll take the cars to them.
We have done that, and we will.
I mean, it's just like whatever we got to do. What gets me is that you want the customer. It's not about greed. You want them and their friends and their family for a lifetime.
I do, and we do a great job in the back end of the store. I sit and listen to all of your vendors that come onto this program, and a lot of those values they have, we certainly have. I mean, we believe in training. We believe in giving the customer a fair shake. I mean, I'll do oil changes for $20. The oil costs me $18. But I'll do whatever it takes to earn that customer's business and trust. And we do a good job at doing that.
And, the other thing, too, you talk about right now, we're talking about pricing as one part of the respect model that you have for the community. But it also goes into even the financing process of respect.
It does. Some of you might have heard the term of shotgunning. If you go in and you have less than perfect credit, they're going to run your credit. They're going to push a button, and it's going to be shot out to 15, 16 banks, and whoever buys it and approves it first, then that who gets the deal. So we'll sit down with the client and sit down with them and go over their credit, go over their, we're their financial advisor at that time, and we're going to take the time, know which bank is best, which we do know, and we'll send it to one bank.
Right.
And it does affect people's ratings.
Well, thank you for saying that. I mean, this is a big issue. It talks about respect in the pricing and has you treat a human being and care about them and their business and their referrals. But it also goes into the fact that you respect their credit. What happens when people's credit is shotgun is it looks like an attempt to acquire debt 16 times. And the credit companies have to go, well, wait a second, we won't know for maybe 30 to 90 to 180 days how much of this credit you got. So your score can drop temporarily to slow down how much credit you apply for, because if you acquired all of this debt, you became a higher risk
That's correct.
And so I've heard of stories of where a consumer went out to buy a car and they had their credit shotgunned and they couldn't buy their house for 6 months because their credit score was low and it was going to cost them more than the car in additional into buying their house.
And it happens every day in Reno.
It's so disrespectful. And it's the same thing. I just want them to know how they can get a hold of you out at Wild West Chevrolet.
It's wildwestchevrolet.com and it's 775-463-3456. There's a choice and it's in Yerington. It's Wild West Chevrolet.